day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Maury. Them poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah, we got the goods. Build them assets, build them up fast. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a blast from the past. We gonna smash it, be prepared to hit the gas, yeah.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melodization, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel.
Drive.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the higher, yeah. Sharing no haka from Virginia, yeah.
I know I'm more because I'm blessed. I know I'm more. I pass the test.
We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melodization, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel.
Drive.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melodization, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the higher, yeah.
Peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again with the news. Hey, so we got a beautiful Sunday service for y'all today. Appreciate everybody tapping in. All right. We're doing some DNA talk today. Got Dr. Nicole Mendoza coming through. You know, it's gonna be a good one. We got our boy Gotta Green gonna be in the building, Mac, of course. So we're gonna get to it, man. But first, you know, in similar fashion, for those of y'all who are new to us, we always cover the news before we do what we call our Sunday service, the lecture. That's going to be the DNA bill, right? So first, we got to start off with some current events. We got to take it over to New York City, boss. So New York City just had this controversial mayor election, which it typically is because this is one of the biggest cities in the United States, right? So we got to talk about this, bro, because it's pretty crazy what's going on. So if you don't know, a gentleman by the name of Zoran Mamdani was the winner. All right. So if you're like me, I had never heard of this guy until the past couple of weeks. So he just kind of came out of nowhere and overtook Cuomo out there, who is basically Democratic royalty outside of the mishap he had a couple of years ago, whatever his situation was, right? He fought a fall from grace. So I got to ask myself, how was this guy able to win this prestigious political position, and what's his backstory, right? And it really made me want to check into him when I heard this speech right here. So let me play, we're going to take it to the other side. I want to go to his victory speech. Then we're going to kind of walk into who he is and have this conversation real quick. So let me play his victory speech, and we're going to take it from there.
So before I say anything else, I must say this. Thank you. Thank you to the next generation of New Yorkers who refuse to accept that the promise of a better future was a relic of the past. You showed that when politics speaks to you without condescension, we can usher in a new era of leadership. We will fight for you because we are you. Or as we say on Steinway, ana minkum wa ilaykum.
So check this out, bro. So this is why we got to talk about this, because he also, you know, he had some things to say about Trump. So Trump came up, he said coming after Trump, because obviously, you know, Trump from New York City, historically from New York City. So he had something to say about this mayoral race, as well as many others like 50 Cent, you name it, right? So here's the part that bothered me that I don't think as Black Americans, we haven't been paying attention to what's really going on. So, and this is one of my main beefs with the Democrats, is because they so immigration heavy. So in his speech, when he was speaking to Trump and to the others, he was basically saying New York City is an immigrant city. We run this, we built it, this, that, and the third. And what people don't understand is the Democratic Party is going to immigrants, whether illegal or legal, because it just so happened, you know, a lot of these states that Democrats have won, because they've been putting belt to ass these last couple of weeks, right? But in these states they're winning, just so happen to be the states with the no ID needed to vote. So you do with that what you will, right? But to the immigration part, let's get to that, because the Democrats, they are trying to replace the Black voter base that got them to where they are to this point, from civil rights on forward, right? So this dude is a prime example. So we always got to ask ourselves, who are these people that they are thrusting in front of us? Because to overtake Cuomo in New York, that's a pretty big feat, bro. That's not for a rookie to be able to pull that off is pretty crazy. Now, let me tell you, when I did my research on Zoran, I don't like any politician that doesn't have any experience in what we would call the real world. Brother never held a serious job, never ran a business. So what would you know to do to help your constituents? All you're going to talk about is big government, which is why he's a part of this socialist movement, which is why I also believe they put him up in front of the people of New York. And he kind of got built up out of nowhere. They say he got ties to the Soros family. You know how their name always come up. But it's easier. They make it hard to not want to have a conspiracy when you think the guy that was his biggest opponent was Cuomo, who, bro, just had some sexual misconduct a couple years ago. So for him to come back and run, I don't even know why he thought he stood a chance. So it's like they kind of put him up there knowing that he's a respectable opponent to beat, but there's no way the Democratic Party thought he would win, which he knew that, which is why he tried to run independent. So the media looked like a whole play. But back to Mamdani, right? Where he come from? What's his backstory? So this is how they say he came into political recognition. Let's play this video. See what they got to say and how he came to recognition in New York.
This guy come from? So I wanted to find out like what kind of put him on the map politically. As it turned, no, it had nothing to do with Muslims. No, it had nothing to do with that. It had to do with taxi drivers. So the city makes money by selling what are called medallions. And they're a physical medallion that goes on the car that gives them the right to operate a yellow cab. They kind of act like, almost like, if you think of like a liquor license, where it's not like an annual licensing fee, it's an asset. Like you buy it and it's an asset. And you can, when you retire, for example, you could sell that medallion. Okay, so if I were to ask you, for a single cab driver, how much do you think they would pay for a medallion? What would you guess? Okay, yeah, I think that sounds a good guess. What would you guess?
5,000. Did she say
She said 5,000.
No, I would say like 100,000.
They were almost $100,000 by the 1980s and 1990s. These drivers would have to go get loans to buy these medallions because it's required for their business, right? In like the 2000s, New York City limited how many of those medallions they would put out. And so when they limited it, what happens to the price of medallions? They skyrocket. By 2013, they're selling for over $1 million. Wow. Over $1 million. It's being driven in part by the city itself because they're holding auctions and setting minimum bids. Then you've got the lenders who are just trying to get in on this big lending action, the exact same fury that happened over the 2008 housing crisis, where they were lending money to people that couldn't afford it. Let me tell you something, if you drive a taxi, you can't afford $1 million loan. What's happening is these lenders, and we're talking like Capital One and Melrose Bank, they were offering these crazy terms to get these people locked into these loans that they absolutely could not afford. And they're inflating the values to be able to give these people loans. So once they get into these loans, they then can't even afford to eat. And then along comes Uber that is not required to have medallions. And so what happens to the value of a medallion? Almost overnight, it goes from being worth $1 million to being worth 600,000 to being worth 200,000. And by 2019, they did an auction of 16 of those medallions. 3 of them sold for about $137,000, and 13 of them didn't even get a bid. Now these people not only are in massive debt, but they're in massive debt over an asset that has no value.
Oh. Right, yeah.
Yeah, so what happens? They start foreclosing left and right. Well, if they foreclose, you're out of business. Like, you've lost your career. And you could have your house tied up to it. You could have tied up to these loans. So it may not just be losing your cab. You could lose your home. And the cab unions are saying, look, this is ridiculous because the lenders and the city are engaging in predatory behavior. They're the ones who artificially inflated the value of those medallions, first by restricting them. So, Mom, there's 50,000 drivers in New York City, cab drivers, and there's like 13,000 medallions allowed. The city is taking no action. The drivers are asking the city to do something to protect them, like cap the amount of a medallion, cap the amount that a lender can put there, cap the amount of interest rates. At this point, help bail them out because the city is part of the reason they're in this situation. I mean, that's ludicrous. $1 million so somebody can have a job as a frickin' cab driver? Come on. It got so bad that in 2021, the cab drivers staged a hunger strike. They are desperate after 10 years of fighting the city to do something to stop it. But the city liked the inflated values too, because the city has tons of these medallions that they still own and control. So it behooves them for their books to have the highest valuation. Even though it was hurting the people, it was helping the city. So the city didn't care. A 29-year-old assemblyman. So he was part of the legislature, but he couldn't get them to do anything either. So he actually went out on the steps of the Capitol and engaged in the hunger strike himself. And he did not eat anything for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And 2 weeks later, the city did something about it. They capped the amount of a license at $170,000, restructured the loans that these cab drivers had, some of them in the, many, many hundreds of thousands. The city gave grants up to $30,000 to help some of these drivers. They capped the payments at $1,100 a month. So they actually, at the end of that 2 weeks, they took action. And so he basically is credited by the cab drivers with saving their livelihoods.
Hey, so I want you to hear from this is what the word on the street is in New York. This is how they say he rose to political prominence. That's how his name started ringing, right? Sounds like it's a noble situation, right? Taxi drivers getting taxed literally to be in this business model in New York City. So he comes in and he protests on their behalf. So he participated in the hunger strike. Okay, so now here's where stuff get interesting. So bro was born overseas. His people, I think he said he was in Uganda. Even though he's from the Indian descent, he was born in Uganda, came to America in New York, went to some nice schools, went to college. Like I say, never had a real job, never owned a business. He's, I want to say, bro, like 30, 31. And you get thrust into being the mayor of New York City, one of the biggest, most prominent cities in America. That's a hellified position to take on so young without the real experience to back it. So now we go into his background. They say Buddy was a rapper, you know what I'm saying, making rap songs. Or he go from that to now being one of the biggest socialist candidates. Now, we talk a lot about history. We talk about law and genealogy, but we also got to get down with this politics side, bro, because it's very important. And this is the driver behind a lot of the things that we know today. The erasure laws and things that happen, that's political, bro. So we don't pay attention enough when we have these history is repeating itself through these characters, and New York City is a prime example. So we just try to do our part to inform y'all, from the news to the law to the history to the lectures. That's what we do with the Autonomous Party with Sunday service, right? So, hey, look, we got a very, very special show for y'all today. All right, very special show. We talk about DNA. We got Dr. Nicole Mendoza here. All right, but before we get to the bill, first we gonna go. The Gullah Mass Choir has been highly requested, man. So they done put together something for y'all. We're gonna play the little 1-2, and then after that, we're gonna get to the lecture. So appreciate all y'all tapped in with us, share it with a friend. We about to get into it. Make sure y'all liking the video. Also, hey, check out the interview we just did out in Dallas, Texas with Eric Brown. It's a very good interview. Like y'all know, we are a network here trying to put out several different pieces of content to engage y'all in different ways. All right. So if you appreciate the media that we putting out, definitely a like is free. You know, if you can't do nothing else, a like will definitely suffice. And obviously, we do independent media. So all the super chats and everything y'all send us, it goes right back into what we do, and we appreciate it. All right. So with that being said, we're going to take it over here to the Gullah Mass Choir. Then when I come back, we're going to bring up our guests, and we're going to get to this DNA bill, y'all. So hold tight. Be right back.
Yeah, they talk about change, but we've been here building this thing. Color souls don't fade. No way. We still remember the name.
They say the city's new, but we still here. Lay them bricks, wipe them tears, preaching dreams from a college seat, but never walked where the struggle meets.
Don't sell me peace for control. Don't trade my roots for your role.
You call it fair, but I see the scheme.
Turning my life to your dream.
When ideology replaces identity, you lose the truth of what we mean.
They love to talk, but we did the work. Made the soil from the hands they dirt. Now they saying it's a brand new day, but they move the people who paved the way.
No freedom, independency.
No progress if you erase me.
They call it love, I call it spin.
Don't forget who we've always been.
Sell me peace for control.
Don't trade my roots for your own. They say it's change, but I can see ain't nothing new, just history. When ideology replaces identity, you lose the steal, you lose the soul, you lose the key. You can paint the flag in a brighter hue, but the story still bleeds the same old truth. We gave the sound, we paid the dues. Now they singing our songs with different shoes, but we still rise high. We still believe. We still the roots that the world can't leave. Who we are can't be replaced. Can't be replaced. Our truth don't fade. Can't be replaced. Can't be replaced. Keep your faith. Keep your power. Keep your fame. We still sing in the builder's name. You can't own this legacy, 'cause love and truth still set us free.
They said my story's in a file, a barcode born to reconcile. But when I breathe, I feel the flame of every soul that wore my name.
They test my blood but not my song. They name me right but spell me wrong. Every drop still testifies we survived what couldn't die.
remember the hands that pray, yeah. We remember the price they paid. We remember the light, the climb, cause the blood remembers time. We remember who we are. Who we are.
No code, no lamb, no star.
Measure who we are. From the field to the skyline. From the roots to the divine. We remember our name, cause the blood remembers time.
Testifying our glory.
They say I'm part of this and that, but who recorded where I'm at? I'm every hymn my people sang before this nation knew our name.
We remember the songs they wrote. We remember the words they spoke.
We remember the old and young.
The fight still lives in every tongue.
They tried to write us out the page,
but we remember
our truth don't age with time or cage.
We remember
the blood still moves from line to line.
We remember
every prayer becomes a sign.
We remember
the bayou is the Carolina rain. We kept our roots
through joy and pain, yeah.
They built their test,
we built our tribe,
and the proof is still alive.
We remember the name they changed.
We remember
what they rearranged.
We remember
in heart and mind.
The blood remembers time.
we remember who we are.
We remember near or far.
Our spirit still. They can test this flesh and every name, every prayer, every sign, every name, every prayer. We
The blood remembers time.
Boy. Hey, look, the Gullah Man's choir go crazy. Boy, I be jamming. I be feeling like a little kid again with my 18 of them in church. You hear me? But if you listen to the words, we putting you on game. So, hey, check it out. We got Mac. He already over there. Turn it up. Hold on. Let me get Mac in here, bro. Mac, what you think, bro?
Hey, man. Tap in, goddamn. You heard me? Listen. Hey, listen. The Gullah Man's choir. Oh,
different.
Man, listen here. They ain't ready for that, though. We got so much coming with that, man. Shout out to all my indigenous folk outside. How y'all doing? Shout out to obviously the American Maroons. It's a Maroon thing. Esther Lucy. You already know what it is. You know what I mean? Maranatha to y'all. How y'all doing? The harsh reality is live life autonomously. You heard me? That's real. Sir. That's what we doing. What y'all, Monte?
Hey, I like the backdrop, bro. I like the backdrop. What we looking like, man? It look good in there.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had the new spot though. We've been working on getting into. Because shout out to Museum Lounge first off. Yeah. Because y'all know us for being at Museum Lounge, and we still deal with them actually. You know, shout out to my man Tig. You know what I mean? Blaze. You know what it is. BSB. But we in Blueprint recording studios. You heard me? It's a different look. Matter of fact, look, watch this. It's a different look. See. It's a different look.
Yeah. I told them, hey, we a real network. They think it's a game, Mac.
It's a different look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I ain't gonna use all the cameras and stuff, but we You know what I mean? We in the spot though. We getting ready as we get guests to come in here and get ready to do the production here. I'm here now though. I'm like, you know, we getting
Hey, look at this.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, you know what I'm talking about? You feel me?
That boy that moved on up.
Yeah, shout out to the party. Shout out to the party. Yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Speaking of the party, hold on, man. We got somebody they ain't seen in a minute. Let me bring my dog Kofi up, aka God of Green, man. Hold on. Yeah.
Yo, what's happening?
What's
happening? Hey, man, the GMC.
Crazy.
Tell them ass quiet, boy. Who on fire, boy? Hey.
Fire.
Heat, bro.
Yeah, GMC with the DNA.
You hear me? Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lord.
That's how we coming today. So we brought Kofi, so it's good we did that because I got to get a proper introduction because it was you who brought Dr. Nicole to our attention in the first place. You say, hey, check this out, you know, and obviously we went and do that due diligence. So what stood out to you? What made you even want to start this conversation, Kofi?
Man, I was on TikTok one day and she came across the timeline and she started talking about DNA and, you know, how, you know, we always have our things with the DNA and how, you know, a lot of people really don't, you know, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of people because a lot of people really believe in the DNA as it's given to us. But she was talking some good stuff, you know what I'm saying? Really taking a real approach to it, delving into the DNA standpoint as it relates to us, you know what I'm saying? And how things may not be as it seems, you know, once you really dig deeper and do more research into it. So the stuff that she was saying, you know, it piqued my interest, and I was like, yeah, she talking some good stuff.
Yeah,
it'll really be good if we could get on the show. So,
hey, and we made it happen. And shout out to her when I hit her up, very professional. She was ready to do it. And we want to highlight and support everybody that's putting in the work, bro, because we don't get it's not a lot of attention that come this way for information. We could be doing a lot of other things with our content, but we choose it. We are passionate about this, so we try to support everybody. So shout out to her for even accepting. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up.
And I want to say real quick, too.
Go ahead.
And we
she was on time.
Okay. We bring a lot of men on the show, man. Like we need to have that woman aspect of stuff, and she own it, bro. So
she own it. Very intelligent.
I like that too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one right here.
Hey, so let's pop it up. Hold on. Welcome. How you doing?
Oh, I'm on now. I was just listening, like, thank you.
That's hilarious. Yeah, my bad. I ain't give you no prior warning.
No, just throw it in there. We just see, this is how a woman scared to come on here with us.
I'm like,
how you doing, doctor?
No, it's okay. Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you for pulling up to the party. You know what I mean? Thank you.
So I know, you know, we talked and we kind of have a little guide that we're going to go by. We kind of just want you to flow. So before we get into it, though, I want you to introduce yourself to the people, tell them what you do, tell them about your TikTok because it's booming and, you know, we'll start the conversation from there.
Sure. I'm Nicole Mendoza, and I like to think of myself as just a curious person. I'm a trained researcher. My doctorate is in education, and so most of my research has been in education and psychology. But I started my own little genealogy journey and got into the fact that things just didn't make sense. And so that's what helped me start digging deeper into DNA, population genetics, and figuring out what was actually going on. So I have a research background just from a different field. And now, because I was looking for my own roots, my own family, I stumbled into this whole mess of just them lying. I don't even know how to say it in a nice way anymore, right? It's just a whole mess of misleading people.
Correct. And so the conversation today is one of the main tools in how they keep up this charade. And a lot of us, myself included, I'm not a scientist. I'm not scientific. I know how to research, but I also know when I'm in my lane, right? So I don't understand. I look at DNA simply from one way. I understand the law side very well. And I know when you're doing your genealogy and you want to prove ancestry, then you need paperwork, you need records, because they didn't have the DNA samples. So I always look at it from that point. But then I've heard people come from all over. They breaking down the genomes, and boy, I didn't heard, boy, so, you know, some of our Black people, boy, they can pontificate like none other. And I'm just listening at them. But when I hear you break it down, matter of fact, I want to play, let's break the ice like this. It's a video that I watched from you that you made it very plain. Let me see if I can get it real quick. On your breakdown of how genealogy, when it comes to your DNA, isn't as simple as people try to make it seem, especially through these faulty tests. So hold on, let me see. Yeah, here we go, right here. I'm bringing this up.
On this comment, I immediately thought of black shirts. Just follow me for a second. My son has about 10 black shirts. He is sensitive to a lot of things, so they are almost all some are from random places, ordered. If the fabric works, then immediately I'm buying this black shirt. So if you look in his closet, they're gonna all look similar because they're all black shirts and they're literally reasonably the same type of cut, material, shape. But just because they're similar doesn't mean that you can say or even infer that they're all from the same place. And this is the issue with confusing similarity with descent. Just because something looks the same doesn't mean that you can infer, you know, where the design started, whose first idea it was to come up with a black shirt, nor can you trace them back all to the same manufacturer. You can't say that every single one of the black shirts in his closet was made in the same place. And the same standard, I believe, should apply when we're talking about things like ancestry, ethnicity. If we're going to say that people are demonstrating a certain type of ancestry, then show the proof, show the chain of genetic descent, because similarity is literally just describing what we see. Two black shirts can look identical, but it does not mean that they came from the same factory.
That's bars right there. You just broke down something very important to make it very simple, because we here in the Black conscious community, because we look alike, they assume we all have to have come from the same place. And it's crazy.
Yeah, and that's probably the biggest lie that was ever told.
Yes.
There were at least 3 different populations that were enslaved in the United States: American Indians, Black Europeans, and then a few Africans.
Right.
And that's
exactly. Exactly. Hey, so you spot on to it. So we can get right into it. So Mac, you wanted to talk. Let's take it back to the beginning, DNA from the history standpoint. Let's start it from there.
Yeah, I had to go when obviously, because I'm not the Mrs. the doctor. I'm not the doctor tonight now. So I only thought about what we could find, so we could get to, just so everybody that's watching live. Early discoveries leading to the DNA testing. You know what I'm saying? And just so everybody knows, because I know United States of America predates DNA being formed, nation of people, or the people that were living in the nation. As you just said, indigenous people, the Black European, the white European, and don't forget, like you said, the West Africa, the Negro de Guinea, right? I'm not going to exclude that, but 1869 shows here, Swiss biochemist Frederick Mischer first discovered a substance he called nuclein on what we now call DNA. I mean, doctors, does that sound right from your study, just to make sure I ain't tripping?
Yes.
Okay, so within this is when, see the year, y'all all see the year, 1869. Niggas were free in America after 1865.
Yeah, it's after the Civil War.
So, I mean, the timeline for them to even start this, your people dealing with nationality, you can't trace your nation of people or a tribal group of people based off the timeline. But either way,
and this wasn't even the testing yet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me who was on the slave ships if you didn't do testing until after we got nations and other situations. No, man, that's not how that works. You file on the play. File on the play. You know what I'm saying? 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick, with help from Rosalind Franklin, uncovered the double helix structure of the DNA. And it says showing how genetic information is stored and replicated. You know what I'm saying? And this made modern DNA analysis possible. So, doctor, I want to ask you this first. Does this sound accurate from your research as a doctor?
Yes, all of this is true. And I'm not going to jump the gun, but all of this was really setting up forensic DNA. So how we look at DNA in terms of solving crimes. It was DNA in terms of like paternity, linking individuals. We're barely starting to talk about populations at that point. And that's just the only thing I would add, because for us, as a Black American population, that's what really matters to us, when they started putting labels to groups of people.
Exactly. So you led right into it.
Oh.
Perfect. Alley-oop.
Alley-oop. Yeah.
So right here, we got the birth of the DNA testing. All right, so 84, 85, 1984, 85. So we're clear. British geneticist Sir Alec Jeffreys developed the first DNA profiling or fingerprinting technique at the University of Leicester. He discovered that certain DNA regions were unique to each person. All right, the first use was for a immigration case in 1985. After then, a murder case in 86 in England. So 1988 is when the law began adopting this for a criminal investigation, which makes sense because some people hear us and they say that we're trying to talk about the science of the testing. Nah, if you got somebody's sample and you got somebody else's sample, you easily can compare. Our whole beef has always been, well, how do you know the samples of people from the 12, 13, 14, and 1500? You got them stored somewhere in the magical vault? You know what I'm saying? So what you think about that, Doc? When they hear that, it's a common thing that people always try to say we're discredited in the science. I see you get that a lot.
It's because people don't understand the science, I guess, not to be mean, but what you're saying, what everybody else says, there are ways to link specific individuals. That's what we talk about, identity by descent. So I can find out if somebody's my dad. I can find out if I compare my DNA to your DNA, if we're cousins. But what we're doing in populations is a whole different thing. The only way you could actually link yourself to an ancient individual is every once in a while, archaeologists will go and excavate remains. You know, that's how a lot of the Native American remains that have been found in the United States, or I should say just indigenous American remains, have been found, or all over the world. They go and they sequence those. Other than that, no, there's no way for you to know if you were related to some random person in the 15th century. We don't have those.
Hey, and they make it sound so simple. What you got on there? You got anything on there, Kofi?
No, I mean, that's everything that she said is true. I agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Is if you're going to be able to tie back to somebody from any continent or place, you have to go back and do archaeology and get
everybody else.
Yeah.
That's the only way. We know they're not doing that. Ain't no way ancestry DNA, they ain't got no type of money for that.
No, it's all based on modern populations. They're just looking to see, are you similar to them or not, which is what I was talking about with the black shirts. That doesn't
correct. It doesn't prove your lineage. Exactly. So now we hear the terms admixture, and then how it equates to DNA and the admixture calculator. So kind of walk people into that and kind of break that down from your vantage point so they can understand that.
Absolutely. So admixture is just one of those words that means populations mixing, right? Different genetic material, different DNA mixing across time. And yes, to a certain degree, everybody is a mix now because there's no human populations that have just stayed by themselves really all throughout time. But where we start to run into problems with the admixture calculators is that it's taking populations that are based on modern people. So researchers go somewhere and say, okay, this is Nigeria. Let me find these people. Oh, are you Nigerian? Yes, I'm Nigerian. Okay, they collect all those people, put them in a group, and then now the calculator is comparing everybody to those groups. So that's literally what an admixture calculator is. It's saying, if I compare you to all these different groups I've gathered, what percentage of your DNA is going to be similar to that, the parts that are mixed together. They're trying to, I guess, unmix it or label the ingredient, if you will.
Yeah. Which makes sense. It makes sense, especially from like a ancestry DNA type, just using them for an example, because they can justify the money that they charge. Because I've seen some of the charts and the way they break this down. They're trying to give you all these different data points. But then you also have the critics of it who are, well, it's not even just critics, it's the facts of how a lot of them are literally just selling your samples to help, big pharma and things of that sort, versus really giving you any genealogy help besides the record database.
Yeah, it's not telling you anything other than how similar you are to the groups that they have. And it changes from every calculator. So you can take your test on Ancestry, take it over to 23andMe, you're going to get different results. Take it over to Adentro, you're going to get different results, because none of it's actually based on you.
Right.
At all.
Right. And that's the crazy part, because as I'm sitting here listening, we've had people like they literally mean this when they try to debate us and make fun of us because we don't have a DNA test to prove what we're saying. Like, it's so crazy that they don't understand that they are the ones who are being taken advantage of, and they think it's us. When it literally tells you it's not meant for that. Like, and the first thing they'll say, well, how does it do paternity then? And they don't realize we just told you, you have two samples to compare. It's not the same.
Right. On Ancestry, on some of the platforms, I'm sure you'll get into this later, there are pieces that are true. Okay. It's just that they make it sound like it's all the same thing, and it's really not.
Correct. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we're gonna keep walking into it then. So into this interpretation, right? So talking about the percentages, and they think some of these specific ones are telling you your true story. Mm-hmm. And like you just said, similarity, not identity. Mm-hmm. So they say, I can't remember the number, but it's like, it's a large portion, they say, of everybody's DNA that's very similar as far as humans.
It's something like almost, I don't want to say 99% because that sounds...
I remember something in the 90s.
But it is.
Okay.
It's something in the 90s.
Something.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you only have a small amount of differences that you could even compare for just humans, period.
And you're like, actually, you've guessed their secret. So when you do a DNA test, they're not looking at all your DNA anyway. They're only taking a little section of your genome, what makes you you. And then each company or each calculator has decided they're going to look at specific markers that are supposed to be different in populations. And that's all they're comparing.
Which makes sense. So from your point, why do you think the average person believes so much in the DNA test?
Because we all want to know who we are, right? We don't want to define who we are. In our world, everybody's labeled something or other, and that has advantages. It affects how you navigate the world. It affects what you have access to, what resources, how people treat you, what stories are put upon you. And I think a lot of people, but especially Black Americans, because we don't have nice, crisp, clear stories like a lot of other groups, that's the draw. You want to know, well, where did my family really come from? Or what are these lines? What am I missing?
And that's what got me. So it's funny how when you were telling your story, how you got into this, a lot of us are very similar. There's a few people who were born with this. Like, they still had the link to they had family historians. They had people that would letting them know since birth. But for people like me, similar to you, I started digging into this when I went to find my own history, my own genealogy. That's when I went down. I said, hold on, I thought it went like this. And then it was really XYZ. Even my wife, she got one of these tests a while back, probably 7 years ago. And it said almost identical to what several other people around the world who post their result is almost identical. And they from different sides of the United States, don't look nothing alike as far as, skin tone or that thing. But it's just crazy how, if you really take the time, I can't hate all the way on Ancestry because their records are pretty good. I never did the DNA myself, but the records are good. Kofi, you know a lot about getting the records on there, and then on Family Search. That's why we've been preaching genealogy from day one. You know, shout out to Opie, did all kind of breakdowns. So Mac, you know, tell them, like, from our vantage point, how we've been trying to break down the importance of taking the time to do your genealogy. And you got DNA companies that's literally, they can sell you your poison or your medicine, depending on which route you take. What you think about that, bro?
I mean, it's a complete hustle. I mean, it's entertainment purposes only, as it says on the thing when you buy it.
Yeah.
The results. You can't use it in court. Y'all getting feedback from me?
Yeah.
I
don't know if you sound different, Dave. You got headphones and coming out the
maybe that's what's
like
going
it's both.
You hear me better now?
You actually sound better now.
All right, bet. It's all cap. I'm gonna call it cap for my folks out there on the streets here. But at the same time, academically, you read the fine print and it'll tell you entertainment purposes only. So if you can't use it in a court situation or on a national scale or something to include yourself based off of you being tied to humanity, then I would not buy into, you know what I mean, a DNA test of any people that say that your heritage is tied to America foundationally, American descendants of slaves, of indigenous ancestry. You say you got Black European ancestry because of the surnames. It could be a wide variety of situations, especially after all them people being together for how long? How long they say?
Yeah.
So now from 1492 to 2025, you heard me? And I know all y'all ain't been asking your people who you've been messing with, because you find them attractive, what their backgrounds is. So we're going to keep it 100 on that level of having a conversation. I'm sorry, doctor. You a lady too. You know what I mean by that.
That's okay. Thank you. But yes, I know.
Okay, so in the manner of this, that's my results is that you need to do your genealogy, and it's best to trace back your ancestry as far as you can get, and then from there you got to go off the records of things that's going on in those regions before things are being enumerated. You know what I'm saying? And I think that would be a better result for you to get an understanding of the Black ideal of who you may be in this, you know, in a nation we call America today, in a maroon exile position.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think the reason why these tests became popular is it's like anything else when it comes to Americans. Everybody looking for the easy way out. People they go type on the book, they gonna say, hey, I want to find out. All of a sudden they inspired, they want to find out where they people from, right? They go do the test, they wait that month, however long to come back, bam, they got, that's where I'm from, I'm done. The journey done. I don't need to do no genealogy paperwork. We know where we from. You feel me? It's the easiest way out. Not knowing you playing into the game, bro. You getting finesse.
It's the truth, because there is value. So I would disagree slightly in the sense that I do think there's value in DNA testing for the purposes of helping you with genealogy, because so many people do not have records, or like me, I don't have family to go ask. I don't have any histories necessarily that I can, pull out and check. So for me to get around a lot of walls, that's really why I started digging into the to the DNA. But not all of it's helpful. So the percentages aren't helpful, but your cousin matches are helpful. When you start seeing, and even Ancestry has this, when you go into the locations and you see where everybody's clustered, okay, well, all of my people are clustered in Louisiana, so that kind of helps me know when I start contacting those cousins and I start figuring out, okay, my people are just from Louisiana. That's just where they're from. Or if you go into another site and you see who you're matching on an FTDNA is a good one. And I'm seeing all these people that are clustering in Europe. Okay. So now I have this place. I can check these records. I can go here and check these records, and you can't just get that with genealogy, because sadly for us, unless you're going to hire a genealogist, but for a lot of people like me, it was just a wall. It just stopped. I couldn't read. There was no one else to research.
Yep.
Oh,
yep. Oh no, it's good. I'm back here messing with stuff. So let me ask you this. You said Louisiana, right? Well, where about? I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, okay. St. Martin's Parish is most
okay. Yeah, okay. And a lot of so you on the West Coast. Now a lot of people from Louisiana do go to the West Coast. I got a lot of family who ended up going to mostly Los Angeles, but somewhere all over Vegas too. But that's a common thing. Those migration patterns are very common for a reason. People knew folks already out there, and then they'll go out there later. You know what I'm saying? So very, very common. So break this down for us. You talked about how you didn't have family to ask. So give some advice to people who are in your situation trying to go down this journey, but also have already done a DNA test. Help them understand how they can use that.
The number one thing I can say is get on any site and you can usually take your file and upload it to other sites. So let me say that first, but get on any site that's going to give you direct DNA to DNA matches, your cousin matches. Ancestry does it, GED Match does it, FTDNA does it. I think that's the most helpful because it does. I talk a lot about this. It's called identity by descent. And that is literally the only way that you can prove that you are related to somebody. It's like most likely you had a common ancestor at some point. That is really the only way that you can start to figure out if you're interested, ethnicity or ancestry, because you can literally go to each person and figure out where they're located, or you can go into their tree if they have an earliest ancestor and figure it out that way. And that to me is verifiable. So if I see all these people that are clustering in Louisiana and all of their earliest ancestors are in Louisiana and nobody else, they don't go anywhere else but Louisiana, I feel very confident in saying that my people are original or, indigenous to Louisiana until somebody can show me otherwise.
And until somebody can show me exactly. So when you're doing your genealogy and you're tracing your people to a certain area, so then you're trying to figure out, well, how did they get to that area? But then if you can't find manifests, you can't find ownership records if they was a slave, right? There's something that's going to exist because we found, you can go right now on Google and find records from the 1600s with ship manifests for free. You don't got to pay $1. So it's not like it's hidden. If it was there for your people, you're going to be able to find it. Now, some stuff ain't going to be that easy because in these southern areas, me and Kofi talked about this a lot because he got people that's from the same areas as me. When you talk in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, it get very hard past the early 1800s to start hand tracking people to know. But when you realize history, you understand that these states weren't dealing with the Union till so far off that they was doing their own thing in these states. That's why these tools and the way that you were able to break it down and show your descent and being clustered in a certain area, I think that's very important for people to understand because it'll help not only people in your situation, but anybody's situation that can help you at least strengthen your argument when it comes to your genealogy.
As a matter of fact, God Green, who we know, I'm going to say out of the party people that's here on the stage right now, I would think has the most extensive understanding of genealogy and heritage out of the three of us men on stage with you, Mrs. I would like to ask him because he's the one that actually kind of like was like watching you before he wasn't stalking you.
I'm like, what?
He was watching you. You know what I mean? Like content wise. Because some people to make a show,
you gotta be careful on the internet.
Make sure. But he's the one that obviously pointed out that you were talking about certain things that we were building on amongst ourselves outside of being on these live situations. Shout out to the party. We get together and what we research and what we do when we get together. You stood out to us too at that point too, because we were like, hey, she's really like talking about a lot of stuff here, and we got a doctor on our hands that's really into the DNA that could really show certain things that we've been saying. Like we got questions. So, God Green, is this certain? What was the first thing when you saw her stuff that made you say to us? What was it first in the DNA situation, God? If you don't mind me asking you.
I think it was I think I heard her say something about like was it like ghost DNA or something? I think you had mentioned
ghost population.
Ghost populations. Yeah. Basically that, and how like your DNA wasn't being accounted for. So that's what that really intrigued me.
Hey, so explain that. What's you said? What was it again? Ghost population.
Ghost population. Can you explain that, Doctor, please, for us?
Absolutely. And it's something that people don't talk about enough, I think. So there's this concept about ghost populations or ghost genes, and it's really just a fancy way to say that it's DNA that there's no reference population for. So they test you and running you against all these groups, and you don't match anyone. The DNA just isn't similar enough to match any population. They don't know where it comes from. And what video, I'm assuming that you probably saw of mine. So on one of my chromosome painters, like 90% of my DNA is ghost, is just gray. They don't know. They don't know where it is. I don't
You said 98?
Wait, hold
almost
on.
90%. I mean, it's not.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the only thing they can paint with any confidence is the European. They can't paint anything else. So I just have like stretches of gray. That means that it does not match anything.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm lost.
I gotta set in.
Yeah, for real, like.
So, well, let me finish.
I'm sorry.
So
I mean, popcorn. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sitting here on the edge. So go ahead.
I mean, most people have some percentages, but I'd bet a lot of money on it that probably a lot of Black Americans would have large stretches of this ghost population DNA. Not necessarily that it means that the population never existed. It's that we don't have any way to figure out who they were, because either they were absorbed, either they were erased, either they were just not sampled. But it's probably contributing to most of our DNA in some way. And that's just what the ghost is. You just don't know. You don't know where it came from.
As I'm sitting here listening, I got a Louisiana education, so I break this down for the common man. But the first thing to me that I hear from this is, to me, it aligns with history. All of these different tribes, civilizations across America, you name it. By the time that DNA testing came to be a thing, they were long gone. How can you test a specific people if they don't exist no more to where you can pull up? Yeah, so to me, that makes perfect sense to have these ghost populations, because it is a ghost. You chasing the ghost.
So like when I was that's exactly what it is. When I was really starting to dig into my DNA and I kept matching these groups, I would match like Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. I would match all these groups, and nothing against it, but I'm like, nobody in my family is Puerto Rican. Nobody in my family is Dominican. So why am I matching them? And I wrote about this in a paper. The genetic distance, so how similar I was to them, was too far to be explained by the slave trade. That's just a way to say that I couldn't be similar to a Puerto Rican because we were the same blend of, whatever they say, African, European, and Native. The distance, the similarity was too far. And so my hypothesis, for which I have no backing, I haven't run the study yet, but I believe that we're all part of the same or similar indigenous populations. And so when it's saying you're similar to Puerto Rican, or you're similar to Dominican, or you're similar to Brazilian, they keep wanting us to think it's the African. It's not the African.
Right.
It's the indigenous that they have nowhere to classify. So it says that you're matching these groups that you're not matching, because the population doesn't exist.
The maroons.
That's the we the ghost population. The maroons.
You feel me? Everybody start using that. The ghost population.
Ghost dance, BSB.
I like that, bro. That's hot. The ghost population. Yeah, that's really us. It make perfect sense to me. I ain't gonna lie. To me, that make the perfect sense. They're telling the truth, but most people won't dig into it like you did to go in, because I never even heard of that before. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. Like I told you, I don't know nothing about science. That's not my field. Yeah, but that makes perfect sense to me.
And they're all over the world. I mean, we're not the only ones.
Which makes sense. How could they have everybody around the whole world, all the ancient tribes? There's no way they could do that. It's not possible.
Exactly.
Not possible. And they wouldn't want to. You know how much that would cost?
I didn't bring the book with me, but see, this is why when people because people get caught up on the indigenous side of the DNA, and I think what it is like the same way people get caught up in the race theory. You know what I mean? Blumenbach. You know what I mean? Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, who came up with the race theory, which was in 1775, right? So the race theory actually predates DNA, as we showed you earlier. If you look at the dates of how these things go about, and then within the context of that, when people today, I think are more settled on the race ideal of who they are, and within the context of that, now they're not even looking at that. The term mulatto, for instance, means two different nations of people. That might now be in a location of area that now are spreading two different heritages of people within a bloodline, because they're sharing it now. A man and a woman came together and did something, and they necessarily, because of their complexion and skin, don't come from the same ethnic situation. So how do you DNA that? You know what I'm saying? So how do you factor that into a race? You know what I'm saying? That's that ghost DNA. Ghost dance, BSB. I swear.
Hey.
I just learned something tonight, boy. I swear.
Well, you can't let Matt get there. That boy finna, Kobe, we finna hear about that forever, boy.
I really was confused at first, but then I had a, it went like this. I was like, oh, okay, doctor. All right.
Yeah. You just connected some dots here. I'm telling you, bro.
Okay, doctor. Shout out to the mound building. Shout out to my mound building folk out there. Because I know you cannot trace that DNA, and them structures tied to them dark-skinned folk, would not be able to be traced within 1869 time frame of who those people were that was here when the Europeans came, based off what we find in documents. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave that alone from there, though, on the indigenous side of things. Where you want to go from there?
Hey, so this is what we're gonna do real quick, because Doc been cooking, man. This been going very well. The chat going crazy. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. All right. And we're going to get back to it. So going to commercial, we'll be back. We're going to continue this conversation. If y'all got questions, comments, leave them in the chat. We're going to get to them accordingly. Y'all, we'll be right back. Yeah, check. Oh, my boy say, hold on, what he say? I gotta show this. He say creek ghosts. Yes, sir. I'm telling them, boy, coming with them ghosts now. Everybody gonna be ghosts. You done messed up. You don't know what you done did. Oh, my boy Craig say, I am Jamaican and most of my DNA came from the American South.
Interesting. My dad is Jamaican, and I think I have like 2 Jamaican cousins. That's it. Everybody's U.S. South. So that's awesome.
Making connections already, so it make a lot of sense. So so let's get to this. So we understanding the science behind the tool. So you said, I think you mentioned earlier, genetic distance. Mm-hmm. So when they say that, break that down for us who are not scientifically backed.
Okay, so let me start off by saying that you will never see genetic distance on a consumer test. You will never see it on Ancestry. You'll never see it on 23andMe. The reason you will never see it is because it tells you how much you look like the population that they're testing you against. So how similar you are. And why is that important? It's because if you knew how either you were closely similar or how far apart, you would know that you're not really related to these people. So let me give you like a little bit of an example. Let's say on Ancestry you get 30% Nigerian, as so many of us do. You take your test over to something that's going to give you genetic distance, and that's just a number. And the number is going to be, let's say on GED match, anywhere from 1 to 100. The smaller the number is, it means you are very similar to this group. So if you matched Yoruba at 2, then you could say, okay, you're very closely matched to this reference population. But if you get numbers that are like 20, 30, 40, 72, it means that there's nowhere that you fit. You know, you're still gonna get the percentage of African, you're still gonna get the percentage of Nigerian, which is what, like, you know, Ancestry would report to you. But the genetic distance is telling you if you're really similar to that group or not. So like in my case, that's where I started. I started taking the groups that Ancestry was matching me and looking at GED match, looking at the distance, and I found out, okay, yeah, I guess maybe I matched Nigerian groups, but the genetic distance is 52. So that means that if we had a common ancestor, it would have been like 50,000 years ago, if we had a common ancestor, right?
That's crazy.
So that's why genetic distance is important, because it's the lower the number, it's going to say you're closely, yeah, maybe you're related to them, pretty close, you look similar to them. And I mean, like, not you look, but your numbers look similar to them. Or if it's a big number, then it's just, there's nowhere else to put you. So this is the best spot.
Okay. So you mentioned consumer tests. Would that be like Ancestry DNA? What's the alternative to that a regular person could get access to?
There really isn't any.
That's crazy.
When we say consumer tests, I mean, there's different consumer tests. You know, there's Ancestry, there's Adentro, there's ones that are even more, that map more of your genome or more of your DNA. But the alternative would be, you know, like paternity tests, criminal forensic DNA testing, research. Like if you go in for genetic testing for like medical reasons, that's also looking at your DNA. But you know, you don't have access to that as just you and me sitting here.
And isn't there a database that the government uses for DNA? I think maybe not, like law enforcement.
Yeah, there is, because I think that, and to be honest with you, I don't know too much about it, but I do know that whenever you submit a sample, they will ask if, you know, if you want to be included in this research, which I always decline.
And so putting the word out for others, you know, your DNA is important. Don't just give it away randomly for others' research purposes, especially when it's not benefiting you in totality, or if you don't know how to utilize what you do get back, right? Because what you broke down, there are ways you can use it, but if you don't know what they are, then you kind of just going off what they tell you, you're going to leave it at that. You know what I mean? So that's pretty interesting. So frequency matching. So explain that to us and how that relates in this scenario.
Mm-hmm. At the basis of everything, of all these tests, I'm trying to think. The clearest I can say is that they are never matching you, or they are rarely matching you to other people. They're taking groups of people and they're finding out how often something happens in that group. So a frequency is just an average. It's just saying it happens this many times in the group. So they look at your DNA, they look at the little letters, those are called alleles, and they'll say, you know, the letter A appears this many times in this group. And if you have it and that group has it a lot, then they match you. Oh, it's likely that you're related. That's essentially. Okay. Let me just do that over and over again, though, with, you know, like hundreds of thousands of SNPs, which are the locations on your chromosomes, on your DNA.
Okay. So I think I'm following. So Mac, you had something?
I mean, you hear me clear? I'm good?
Yeah, you good.
All right. I want to get to something particular, but I want to ride what she riding. She riding right now. I ain't trying to stop her.
Oh yeah, she cooking.
Let her do her thing. I'm just gonna let her finish first. I'm gonna let her go. Go ahead.
Stay less. So to the heat maps. So explain that to us.
Mm-hmm. So there's lots of different types of heat maps. I think you're probably if you're talking about like what I've shown, it's the GED match archaic heat maps.
Okay, yep.
And those, in that particular test, they're showing where your actual DNA is matching an archaic or an ancient person that actually lived. And they're showing you on each single chromosome, do you match, do you not match? That's a completely different type of testing. It's called IBS, identity by state. And that's literally just going chromosome by chromosome. Do you match? Yes. Do you, or yes or no? That's all it is.
Okay.
And if it's dark color, then yeah, you match pretty well. And if it's not, then you don't.
Okay, so that makes sense. So that's why you got people in the chat right now going crazy. So many of the indigenous or the ancient American samples are missing, which would be the ghost population. So you got Ms. Angela come in. She say those ghost populations are most likely those buried in mounds. The Smithsonian has hidden the science. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just hidden, period. No matter where they at, they just were not. It's not physically possible, and it's damn sure not possible from a business aspect to excavate all the bodies that you would need to get all the various sounds. It's just not. It's not even worth having a conversation. It would never be possible. You know what I mean? So hold on. She say. Nicosia, shout out to her. She always check in with her. She say that's why most Black Americans DNA tests are 0.2% American Indian.
That part.
Yes. Oh, we can talk about that.
hey, doctor. See, doctor, I need therapy. Listen.
What's going on?
Let me tell you why. All right. Because when people say DNA and how we talking right now with the races and everything, see, I just told y'all earlier, this dude named Blumenbach, see, if he was alive right now, I would want to have him sit down with us and make this make sense, right? Because how do you group a nations of people underneath a category based off a geography that comes from a foreign person?
Exactly.
How can we calculate this correctly, doctor? I need help. You know what I'm saying? This is bothering me because the word African even, and as a construct of where it comes from, you can't tell me that you found DNA to go back to that because that's a coined term that goes back to Rome. Now, funny enough, same thing with the term Indian. Indies is the geographical term. So how are you going to tell me when we can find history of all these nations of people, empires even, that was here going into 1492, that you're going to tell us that everybody was one phenotype and this is how they look?
No.
I got problems, doctor. I'm a
big problems.
Doctor. I'm going to let you help me out.
I mean, you're reading the situation correctly.
It's gray. It's the gray area. It's the gray area.
No, there's no problem. I mean, but that's the part that nobody wants to talk about.
That's
because in every single study, not even the testing, I'm talking about the entire field of population genetics. Every single study starts off with assumptions that modern day populations, like who we see now, our current maps, our current labels, apply somehow to the past. So every single thing you're getting is always through the lens of now, which I get. What can you really do? But it's falsely applying that to the past. So it's exactly what you said. None of these countries existed. None of the way we think about populations existed. None of these names existed, however many years ago. But every match you get is going to be filtered through the lens of our current understanding of maps, our current understanding of people, our current names, and that's why things change, right? Like the results are always updated because the panels change, the names of the populations change. I'm gonna even say countries disappear. Countries' names change these days, right? So
that would be historically accurate too. Go ahead,
I know some folk locally, they be like, I'm a Floridian. And my people from over here, you can't go telling them they from somewhere else. They like, man, I don't know nothing else but that. My people go back to this street over here, like, and they go back from my people. You pick cotton up there. Like, come on, like, how you strip people of a heritage of going through certain things in the land that you were in prior to even you said it, nations change. United States of America became a nation. What 1776, right, y'all?
Yeah. On paper, yeah.
Right? On paper,
yeah.
right? The race theory came out when? 1775?
Yeah.
Huh? I need help.
Then you got Benjamin Franklin, why he said what he said in the 1750s. In the 1750s, which would lead up to one of them do the race. You see what I'm saying? Because he realized that
we don't know.
They was lacking in numbers.
Right. This is before a census was taken based off of now the nation, that people now will go back and do tracing their genealogy, their heritage, and say, okay, well, within this nation, United States of America, being that my people were here in North America prior to the nation being formed, before a race even came about, theory-wise, from a Germanic man called Blumenbach. You hear me? I have problems, doctor. This is why this anthropologist, I'd be wanting to talk to him. I'd be trying to figure out, like, what was your thought process? You know what I mean? But within the context of like real time, you can't trace it, doctor. If I'm tripping, you can tell me, and I will listen to you because I've watched what God Green put us on to, and that's why you here. So I'm gonna listen to you, doctor. Tell me we tripping.
I mean, you're not. So that's the thing.
All right.
You know, I don't know what you're not, in the sense that everything is told through the modern lens. So no, there's no way to tell that they don't match up, right? Because what we talk about now isn't what the country looked like 300 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. It's all different. But we also have to remember that it serves a purpose. I mean, not our purpose.
Right. There you go.
But it serves somebody else. So, you know, and that's how we ended up here.
Okay, so speaking of that, we got a question from you from the crowd, and from Craig. He says, please ask the doctor, is she aware that they are using African American DNA as proxy for continental Africans?
Yes. So
how's that work?
Yeah, and so the thing is, I'm gonna say this because I'm actually in this rabbit hole right now, trying to trace the source.
I got a question right after that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what's happening a lot of times when you're getting those African percentages, it has nothing to do with the continent of Africa. It's the assumption that any, how do I call it? They call them, you know, we're called a diaspora group. So they're saying if you match people in the United States that are Black American, if you match people in Brazil, you match them in Colombia, whatever it is, they're taking all of that and labeling that African. So that's how people are getting, 70% African. And you're like, but wait, I don't match any people in the continent of Africa. How am I 70%? Oh, because you're matching all the other Black people in the United States or whatever country that they have decided are African descendant. And so it's all being decided that it's African, even though you might not have one segment of African DNA in you.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh,
wow, just like Legend said, because that's what? So you said diaspora. Are you talking about the diaspora that we know of, like the Pan-Africans talking about, or are you saying that's a term they use in DNA as well?
Transatlantic?
It's an everywhere term. Like, I don't like using it because it's the assumption that everybody with dark skin came from Africa. But that's what I'm saying. It's baked into everything. In every study, in everything that you look at. If you're talking about brown-skinned people in the Americas, it is immediately Afro this or African descendant. There's no way to separate the two. And that's in everything. And that's what's causing, at least, within our discussion about DNA, that's what's causing so many people to get these high percentages of African, because you might match only African Americans. I don't want to use that term, but African Americans as the reference group.
Yep.
You might match, that might be 100% of your matches, and you're going to come back 100% African, because they've said that Black Americans are African.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Mac, what you got on that, bro?
Well, we just got to doing the Romans as referees, see? And being that we just covered like the Roman system and how they predate this DNA thing, we know where the word go back to. We know the first council province. We can go back. You know, we mentioned last week with Lee Cummins, the King Charles II, the Royal African Company. So I mean, and even when you go research the Royal African Company, they can't tell you that all the people that they brought here were out of West Africa. So that DNA ain't gonna match off that either. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a whole bunch of problems with the conundrum of people trying to buy into this DNA entertainment purposes only thing. You know what I mean? But,
and actually, just to jump on that really quick, because this is another little rabbit hole here. One of the sites, not Slave Voyages, but there's another one that's a big like slave documenter site. They actually just updated their text to say that the first slaves brought over in the 1500s were all from Europe. Now they say in there, they say African descended from Europe, right? Because everybody's got to be from Africa.
Got to be from Africa.
Everyone has to. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. So now they're starting to admit, oh, wait, not every slave came from Africa. And actually the earliest ones were from Europe. Okay.
We know this. You just said it last week.
We've chased the records and we have seen it. It ain't even no, it's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, again, like she just said, that's funny because with history and like you said, the chronological timeline that predates a DNA situation shows that crowns were already dealing with people. I guess today they were classified as Africans, people that are so comfortable with the word Roman term. Right. But these people in their classifications as nationalities or nations of people, if you say Gentile, you want to say Goem, or if you want to say whatever name of the nation that or tribal groups of people that were in these regions that were considered today Europe. Right. We can go back to the Roman time frame of when they're calling these regions places like, Lusitania or Morica or Britannia, these terms. And these people that are there who were considered swarthy, Black and more terms that are used in those languages of those crowns in those areas, which tell me that they definitely have documentation of them being deported out of those regions into the 13 colonies. And that's something that Doctor, I told you I had problems. I mean, I'm trying to be, you know what I'm saying? You might help me here tonight with this conversation because when you documentation, when people say white man did this, European, or they automatically put that together when they hear European white man. So DNA, that throws out that whole
kill the whole thing.
That whole thing's gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we understand that people are being deported based off what's going on in real history, what they could show lawfully, these crowns documented they did, and how they're sending them into areas such as the New World in the colonies that's tied to these crowns, right? It's showing that these people are not classifying themselves based off the DNA results of these now newer terms that were obviously still tied to, some of it's got half truths to it, like the Congo and what's going on with that. You know what I'm saying? Because there was Angola. We can't deny that. We know that people fled into certain regions and mixed with other people, and then certain things also now compounds on them people now coming into these colonies tied to America and mixing with the indigenous population as well. Over time, the results of the colonial situation shows that on record. Now, how people take it because they want to fit into a race category, if you understand what I'm saying, that DNA thing, once again, my race is this and we all from this, but how you go back to a colonial term is my problem, Doctor. I have a problem. I'm trying to get some kind of reprieve.
Well, until we decolonize, then we'll still be just stuck in the loop of colonial terms, I guess.
Oh, yes, I'm in maroon position. That's that ghost population. Ghost dance, PSB.
She talking that talk, though. Hey, shout out to Jesse. He said, great show, y'all. Great. Appreciate that, Jesse. We got a lot of comments. Let's do our audience proper.
Any questions real quick?
I've been slipping as a host. Hold on. Let's get to this. So, let's see. Oh, yeah. So Paul said, remember, let them tell it the indigenous in our areas all died off. Exactly. That was his next comment, a strategic lie. Yes. Hey, you know what? It's funny. Since I've been listening, we having this great conversation. Everything honestly matches up when you take the time to dig into it. You go DNA, they talk about ghost populations. When you do your genealogy, you find people that was here already, and you can't explain how they got here. You can't find boats, you can't find slave records for the majority of your ancestors, right? When we read the history and we hear Benjamin Franklin tell us that, hey, the majority of the world was swarthy in 1750, right? We see why they would want to create this strategic lie and put us at one place only. The places in Africa is one of the newly developed areas where they would love to put us because it ain't as powerful as America. So we got to really get on this, bro. We trying to present all these conversations and attack this from every angle. Y'all can't say y'all got an excuse. We knowledge for free that you can take and run with and pass it to everybody you know and further the research. We not saying, I think a lot of times when we present information, we're not saying that we're the foremost experts because this is a lifelong journey. Nope. If anybody tell you they got it all figured out, they lying because it's too deep. You know what I'm saying? It's way too deep for you to just spend a couple years and you feel like you at the top of the top. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all y'all that's in the comments tapping in. So, hey, hold on. So we got Craig again. Craig been on it. Shout out to you, bro. He said they are basically arguing that, saying that you can take Asian DNA from an American Chinatown as proxy for samples from China. This logic doesn't work with us because of the lack of chain of evidence. Let's see what we got here. We got, so we got a question for you. It's on you if you want to answer it, Dr. Nicole. He says, so what do you identify as?
I'm still working on that.
Hey, that's a great answer.
Post-population survivor, I think is what I have on my TikTok right now.
Hey, and I like the honesty. I like the honesty. Hey, because so many people, when they get into this, they ready to go like, we got beef. People that don't like us from the, Matt called it the Pan-Indian movement. Basically, it's the sector who they know the Indian part is true, but they've taken it to a point. They don't want to account for the Black Europeans or any admixture. They want to just be 100% one thing when the history don't really align and say that that's possible for the totality of what they would call foundational Black, whatever you want to call that term. It just don't align that way if we're being honest about history. You know what I'm saying?
We were all together. I mean, they grouped at least that we know of 3 populations, but I would throw out probably, you probably had some Southeast Asians. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
We're coming over to, there's probably all kinds of people.
You got them too in there.
Yeah, we know that for a fact. They had trade treaties with the West Coast, with New Spain in the 1500s. We read the documents. So they definitely were in America, just like it is today. Even though we're here, we can have our complaints. When you take your feelings out of it, America got real power. And it wasn't because of great policy. It was because of what America produced. It helped them take over the world when they captured America. So it's a reason why this was the launching point for the new Rome. It wasn't because of they felt like they can write the best laws. You know what I'm saying? It was financial power. The same thing we still dealing with today. So, hold on, we got what my boy say. He say that's crazy work. They use the same in the medical field, a median. So I think he was talking about those numbers, how they could, if you got a certain amount of this and I got a certain amount of this, then we got to be cousins or something. Even if it's possibly 30 generations ago. Like, hey, man, this is crazy.
Crazy work.
Crazy
work. Hey, somebody said in the chat, well, we definitely not African. Look, I even said that a couple times. How many times you gotta hear us say it?
We believe
That's
that.
why we covering this Roman shit. Excuse my friends. I'm sorry, doctor. See, I'm trying. That's why we said about this Roman thing already before we even, Lee Cummings last week got a doctor this week dealing with the DNA, that we understand this word African is a Roman term. And even later on in history, King Charles II, we told you last week, the Royal African Company. If you go look at the manifest of how many people they say they brought during the time frame of that chartered situation, you know what I'm saying? They didn't bring no 12 million people into the 13 colonies out of West Africa. And that's just facts when you go research that. So, of course, everybody is not African or out of Negro de Guinea. You know what I'm saying? The Western African Central. But there is people out of Iberia. There's people out of North Africa. There's people out of France and all them regions we call Europe that were definitely there for thousands of years that you've been following what we've been doing over here. And we show that they're there. And the Romans actually tell you that they're there. They're called freedmen before freedmen came to America. Go ahead.
That's why it's important. So, Doc, I got something to lay up. So I want you to. So
I got my question though. Don't forget me though. I got a question.
Oh, so you go ahead now. You go ahead now.
I can go ahead now. Any
Go
questions
ahead.
from the chat? Or let the chat get some more.
No. It's a lot of people commenting on they enjoying the conversation.
Okay, all right, bet. Well, got it green because I'm trying to give you you put us on alley-oop. All right, I'm gonna slide. All right, then. So, doctor, have you heard about this popular DNA thing that most people do? Because I've been curious, and then you're a doctor, so I'm asking. I take my notes. Give me 1 second, doctor. I got to get my notes for this part right here. Hold on.
My boy can't
all right.
prepare.
Yeah. All right. So, doctor, there's a sequence that a lot of Black folk in the movement, foundational African American descent, slavery, whatever, all the different acronyms and stuff, right? Like DNA is an acronym, right? Funny enough. So E1B1A. I know you know that, right, doctor?
Yeah.
You better know this, doctor.
You start laughing as soon as you said it.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
No, but so all right, so doc, real quick. It says it's also tied to another sequence I'm finding here. Me doing my little research to ask you this question is the E-M2. Have you heard of that, doctor?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. See,
Tell me about this.
It says now. This is what it tells me. I'm gonna tell you what I can't find because I didn't know none of this. I was waiting for you to help me in this.
No. Okay, we're gonna learn.
I was lost. I was lost. So it said is a parental Y chromosome haplogroup, meaning it passes from father to son. It says it is a branch of the haplogroup E-M96. It says one of the most ancient lineages tied to Afro-Asiatic migrations. Mm-hmm. How'd that sound to you, doctor?
Okay, so let me. There's nothing wrong with haplogroups. There's nothing wrong with haplogroups. There's nothing wrong. Haplogroups is what it is. But I think you have to understand about anything is that everything is based on the out of Africa theory. So no matter what, it's all going to trace back to Africa. I don't have any opinions on the haplogroup. It's probably more Asiatic than African. It's probably just from Asia.
Even saying African, that's the problem. Like I'm thrown off. Doctor, I was confused. See, I'm being honest. Like,
yeah,
see, look,
that's crazy.
So how are we gonna get to African ideal if they're saying that the E1B1A, also written as E-M2, which is supposed to be tracing from the Y chromosome from the father to the son, and then it says it's tied to another haplogroup of E-M96, and it says it goes back to, and it says Afro-Asiatic, and it say even African. It's Asia's a continent, right?
Yes.
Y'all hearing me?
Yeah. No, I hear exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It didn't say. It could have just said sub-Saharan, sub-West Africa. Like no, they tell E1.
I normally say
It's supposed to just be tied to
what is the
isolation.
Let's explain this to the people. What is the E1B1? Because everybody don't even know what that is.
I'm gonna get back to that. I'm sorry, Don. See, I'm trying to get therapy at the same time, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and break it down simply.
Yeah, break it down for the people.
Oh, that good. So go ahead, doctor.
Yeah. So I mean, those are just types of haplogroups, and what a haplogroup is, either you have a Y DNA haplogroup, which is looking at the male line, so father, grandfather, great grandfather, all the way up, or you're looking at mtDNA, which is the maternal haplogroups, right? So your mother, your mother's mother, your grandmother, etc. So if you're a female, you basically, or a woman, female, I'm thinking in science terms, you can only trace that one single line, that one single female line. And if you're male, then you would trace the Y DNA, which is what we're talking about here. And so I don't even remember where I was going with it. So those are haplogroups.
Right.
And the reason why they like haplogroups is because it's a continuous line, right? Because it's just that mother all the way back, or father all the way back. And so why people usually pull it out is they say, well, look, here we can show you where this line originated, even though it's only one line. But I think where the issue comes in when we talk about haplogroups, or just really a lot of the data that traces back to ancient, if it's saying that we can trace you back to this ancient place, is that everything is based on the out of Africa theory.
Yeah.
So no matter what you're doing with your haplogroups or your information that's supposed to be tracing an ancestral line, it's always going to lead back to Africa, even when it doesn't. And I'm saying that because even the like other haplogroups from Europe, or like the H, the J's, the K's, you know, things like that, that have nothing to do with Africa, they will still come up with a reason as to, oh, they started in Africa, then they went, and then they came back, and then went, right? Like,
right. Heard that so many times.
It's always something. So I guess in regards to the specific question or the idea, it's probably just Asiatic. It's probably just from Asia, right? But they have to put it as African, especially if it's showing up in an African descended population. And that's really what happens. Like there's it's maternal haplogroup, it's L's, the L haplogroups that are supposed to originate in Africa, but it's primarily found in African American groups or Black American groups. And so they're assuming that, oh yes, it has to have originated in Africa because we find them in Black Americans. But there's nothing necessarily linking us to Africa. It could just be an American haplogroup, right? And people went over there, but everything has to trace back to Africa.
It has to.
It has to.
Which is part of the game. Like this is why we break down everything, the history, the science now, the education, the politics, bro. This is all used to keep up the great lie. You feel me? Like you got to be able to break down all of these different aspects. It's not a one way. If you just do your genealogy and you change your ID to American Indian, it ain't that easy, bro. A lot of people is lying to y'all, and we've been trying our best, and we done took on people that become I won't even give them respect to call them enemies, but people that disagree with us and mad with us because we telling y'all the truth, and it's exposing their business model. Just like this DNA company, they're making a killing on you actually believing that when you get this test, oh, I'm from wherever they say I'm from, and I'm done. I'm gonna show you my papers. People they want to see your papers, bro. We done talked to so many people. Show me your DNA papers that you American Indian boy.
Hey, hold on, real quick though. Hey, someone, I knew this was going to happen. See, even though I'm trying to get my own therapy, give you all the information, and we got to get to the slides. I'm gonna get to the slides, right? Got Green keeping us on point. I know he here for a reason, so we're gonna get through this, right, with the doctor here tonight. But funny enough, I know that somebody was going to come and say, yeah, nobody mentioned the Bible. You know what I mean? Because we obviously, just like Rome, anything tied to scripture on a Sunday service, if you thought we're not prepared, just let y'all know on the ministry side of thing. So biblical theological views, just real quick, we're going to go through the slides after this. It says,
go ahead.
In scriptural language, DNA would correspond to the seed or the breath of life created in the book of Genesis 1:11. And it says 1:24. And it says, when Yahuwah, God, created living beings after their kind. And said, from this view, DNA was created at the moment of life's divine origin, not evolved later. In the Hebrew understanding, the book of life or divine code could be symbolically represent the genetic blueprint. Funny enough, we in Blueprint Recorded Studios right now. Yeah, but within that philosophical, symbolic view is all that, and they got scripture tied to that too. John 1:14 for everybody that want to go look into the DNA ideal within the theological of a covenant understanding of who you may be or call yourself to be. But however, shout out to all my folk, Maranatha. However the case though, that's not, I did let you know we ain't slipping. But go ahead, let's get to the slide. DNA.
Hold on real quick, bro. Hold on.
I had it in the chat, so I had
wait. Because he came back. So he say, so-called original Europeans look like any other African Asiatic is a modern concept created by the pale-skinned people. What if you go to Asia today, you'll still find the original Black Asians.
Cool.
Here's the problem with that. No, you won't. I done been there. You have too, Mac. You not going to Asia right now, and the majority of the population is the people that you talking about. It's clearly that they've been hidden, just like in Europe, bro.
Right.
Like
if they're scattered and
they're not the majority.
At all.
You got to cut that out.
Going to China or Korea or Japan or Taiwan, and you're going to see us walking around like, hey, we're the original people.
And if you haven't been there, you can't speak to this. Because if you have, you know that's not true.
Yeah, I've lived there for 3 years, so I'm telling
Me
you,
too.
that's not what happened.
It's not the truth. So we got to stop with this big bad boogeyman of the white man. So if you believe they lied about that, you see, is not other things they could have lied about? Like this is the part that y'all be losing me at. You say they lied about this one specific thing, but we're telling you they're lying about many others, and it ain't a color of people who are doing the lying. Because we can't. Hey, you know the problem? I don't realize y'all, and I'm sure y'all get this same pushback. Anytime you tell black people something about Europeans, they think of all the bad stuff. So there's no way none of they people could ever be a European. We got to leave that alone, bro. When you do your genealogy and somebody mentioned it in the comments, we're not saying that you have to have a European in your ancestry. However, it is very likely that that does describe you if you are what they call foundational black, indigenous, whatever term you like. You know what I'm saying? We got to get past that. Use these tools we are giving you to prove it. If you believe that we're aligned, then you should be able to do the research through your genealogy, your history, and your DNA to be able to surmise what really happened with your story. Either way, we'll just be happy that you did the research. But come tell us about it, bro. We ain't tripping.
Hey, I just want to know if you know, because Jack Forbes, shout out to Jack Forbes. As a matter of fact, when we come back on the week, like we got our guest next week, but when we do the last one, we're gonna get to that Angola. Shout out to Solid, East Solid, you know what I mean? The Angola situation will break this down, see, from the historical side. So I want to put that in there real quick. Like I said, we'll get to these slides. But yeah, that Blackamoor, shout out to Jack Forbes. Chapter 7. Read the book. Blackamoor. You know what I'm saying? He got that, and all the dictionaries show it. And that Blackamoor term does not come out of West Africa. You hear me?
So, Doc, like you had something to put on it. What you got on this?
No, I mean, I'm just saying that I think that one thing that everybody should do if you're doing genealogical research is look at other records besides the United States records. Look at Spanish records and translate them if you can. Look at the French records if you can, because that's where you're going to start seeing that most of the people that were over here, a lot of them were the Black Europeans. A lot of the people were. And I think that, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this, but
hey, go ahead. We got your back.
Okay. It's at this point, it's almost positive that most of us walking around are some kind of mixture of the indigenous people and Black European. There's just really, I don't know another way around it. Because when you look at the records of how many people were enslaved, and there's only like one little African, and everybody else is like, Creole or like English Creole. It'll tell you when you get out of the United States records. When you look at other records, they label really well. That's something I think that people aren't really leveraging or taking advantage of. The Spanish had beautiful records. The French had beautiful records. I mean, they label people down to the eighth of what they might be.
Which makes sense. If you're going to detail your property, I ain't going to just, I'm going to be descriptive.
Exactly. So, and they have, classifications. They have the color, your status, where you're from, everything. They have baptismal records for everybody, whoever you are. And, that would really put a lot of this to rest if you just start looking at those records. So.
And that's a good point. And so to add on, to piggyback what you said, for those of y'all doing the research, we are in a beautiful time right now because we have advanced technology. So you can go and get those records that you don't speak French or Spanish with, or maybe some of y'all do. We got a smart following, so I ain't gonna knock y'all. But if you don't, you can go to use a tool like ChatGPT to transcribe this for you in 5 minutes, bro. So there's no reason to not want to do the work now, because you got a lot of tools that can help you versus our ancestors. They ain't have it that easy. You see what I'm saying? So we doing this for those that didn't have the access, that wanted to be able to prove this. We can now. So it really ain't no excuse for y'all to be on here all mad at us because we sharing our research. Go prove us differently with your research, not with no comment.
Tell you who you is.
Yeah.
First off, we have never told nobody who they was.
Nobody.
Because you look like us. That's one thing. That's not autonomous. That would be going against us being autonomous to tell you who you are. That's why we tell you go do your genealogy. Whatever you found, you connected to, but we all end up in a maroon ghost situation she just wrote down. You heard me?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know that for yourself and be secure with that within your own self. But I mean, God green, man, I know we got the slides. Let's get to, cause she just went over that ghost, hidden identity.
Yeah, we've been walking, bro. Hey, COVID makes sure. He said, keep it rolling, my boy.
Keep it rolling. I mean, what's next on the situation? Cause she been cooking. I mean, I don't know what people want to hear, but if there's any questions from the chat,
but the chat going crazy. I can't even keep up with
Oh, for everybody in the chat, that's on X or on YouTube right now. That's live with us. You know what I mean? We got like 100-something people live with us right now. So shout out to both audiences following us right now live, and anybody after the fact. Doctor, I want, because sometimes people forget. So I want you to tell them, Doctor, once again, what's your background and what you do, and then we're gonna let people ask some questions before we get out of here tonight, and hopefully we can bring you back on. We ain't gonna keep you too long, Doctor, in your time. You know what I'm saying? But we thank you.
It was fun. This is a great time. My background is in research, to be really honest with you. Mostly educational psychology research, behavioral genetics is where I got my start. And then moved into criminal justice research and nonprofit research. My doctorate is in educational psychology. And I love understanding things. I like asking questions. I like digging deep, which is, I guess, good for any researcher.
Yes. That's key traits. Yeah, and this is what this is, right? So you are suited, you learn, and your trade is learning how to research, which suits you very well, especially when you got passion behind it, because you're trying to figure out your story. It ain't a textbook that was assigned to you by a professor. So you're going to put way more work into it. So let me ask you a question, because you have more academic prestige than us, right? We just hood scholars, basically, but we serious about what we do, right? Don't get it twisted. Yeah. However, what would you say to people who, like you, went down a different path, but then you use the skills that you learned through academia to help you now through this fight that we're in right now?
But I mean, I think you guys are great examples that all of this information is out there. Nobody needs any specific training. I like school, right? So I'm actually working on my second PhD because it's fun.
Okay.
But all you need is to look at things with an open mind and be a little bit more critical in what you're reading. Where are the gaps? What doesn't make sense? Exactly what we're doing here. And I think what most people are doing. You don't have to have a degree. You don't even have to. I didn't know anything about population genetics before a year ago. And I'm super honest about that. All I have is the fact that I've done research for, more than 10 years. And so I can look at things and say, that doesn't make sense.
Correct.
But, we're talking right here. No one here besides me has done research. And you can all say, this doesn't add up. This doesn't
same conclusions. Correct.
Right?
It's not rocket science.
It really isn't. People get intimidated by language, words, that they're using and the terms. So then exactly what you said, put it in ChatGPT, put it somewhere and have a prompt that I use all the time. I have a 7-year-old, so we use it a lot, but I'll tell ChatGPT, explain this to a 7-year-old.
Correct.
How do you explain it to a 7-year-old? And you can literally understand anything that way. So I guess that's my advice. Just jump in. There's no special training needed.
And I'm glad they can hear from you, because we've been telling them, but we got to keep reinforcing this, because you do need to do the work, right? Your ancestors depend on it. For some of you that are here, if you were here, then you got some type of calling on your life, some type of spark in you to want to go down this path, because you could be doing a lot of other stuff instead of tuning in with us every Sunday, talking about what we talk about, right? So shout out to y'all for the support and always coming through. So Dr. Nicole, I want you to make sure that they can contact you. So tell them about your TikTok, tell them about your book. Oh, go ahead, Kobe. You got something?
I got one question.
Go ahead.
I went on one of your websites a few weeks ago, and I saw you had a DNA clarity report that you were offering. Do you still have it on there? I didn't see it on there when I went back on there.
I had to take it down because I didn't think that many people were going to contact me.
Oh man, damn.
Yeah, so I did for a little bit, and then I just had to take it down. In full disclosure, I am hoping to launch my own site where I can take some of my ideas about how DNA should be analyzed. And so I was doing the reports to kind of test out the calculator that I'm building and trying to figure out some better ways to look at DNA than what's given to us. But yeah, so currently right now I'm not offering the report because it was just too many for me, just little old me. So
yeah, so you was
Okay, I
overwhelmed.
got you.
so yeah, so right now you can just find me on TikTok, mostly on TikTok and YouTube, True North Awakening. You can always email me, Nicole at awakeningtruenorth.com. I'm on Amazon. I'm going to be publishing a book in 2026 talking about DNA and in terms of our bloodlines, understanding the ancestry that's within us and how we can use DNA to, venerate our ancestors. I have a spiritual angle to almost everything I do. So you'll see a lot of that in my work.
Lord, Veronica.
Yeah.
That's redemption right there, right? That's redemption.
Now breathe.
The gullah. Wading
like
in the
that.
water and all that. Hey, that Gullah Mass Choir might need to come back and sing another.
Yeah, we gonna bring them back through on the end, bro. I want to make sure though we get the proper play to Dr. Nicole for taking True North Awakening, TikTok, YouTube, right? Book coming in 2020. Did you have a title for it yet? Did you say?
Not yet. No title.
Not yet. So y'all stay tuned. Go to her
Follow
TikTok. Yeah, follow on Amazon, TikTok. Yeah, Matt, what'd you say?
No, I want to make sure we say it to her live right now because we live is 100-some people watching this right now. I want to
yeah.
You get ready to drop and make sure you come holler at us. The party.
Yeah, we'll
love to have you. Matter of fact, Black History Month coming up down here where we at in Florida. You know what I'm saying, South Florida. If you would like to take a trip, for Black History Month, I might be able to work something out for you.
I've never been to Florida.
So yeah. There you go. You need to come. So hey, look. So we got the website that you want to create with your own calculator. I think that's a great idea, and definitely, everybody. And what we do, you need motivation. You need people from the outside, because it get hard. We get it. Like we stopped doing video for a minute, and we just, for real, just being honest. You know what I'm saying? But we had to, reignite that fire and come back with a vengeance because we know what we're trying to do. So we know everybody needs it. So y'all show support. You make sure y'all follow on the TikTok, on YouTube, check out the book, check out on Amazon so you can support her. Because once again, we come out of our own pocket to do this. We could be talking about a lot of other things, but we doing this the righteous way. So support. A lot of people don't, they feel away when it comes time to talk about that. But I'm a businessman. We gotta keep it real. We spend our own money. We need help too. You know what I'm saying? We ain't begging. We ain't asking for no handout. We producing the work first. So I feel like that's honorable. You know what I'm saying? So, oh yeah, my boy Mike David, that's my Louisiana. Hey, what'd he say? Let me show you what he's talking about. He say, shout out. Oh, this is Craig. My bad. Craig again is on it. I have an engineering background. I can help the doctor. See, this is what I'm talking about. I ain't even mean to click this. This was on accident. This is how you know this alignment. So, hey, look, Nicole, you tap in with us. We building the Autonomous Party Network is what we building. So we trying to link people and push this message to the masses. Mike Davis say, shout out to the party. Always remember my people shall perish from the lack of knowledge. So I always keep learning. That's a great message. That's a great message. So anybody have any COVID, Mac, Dr. Nicole, who has some closing argument? What we gonna leave the people with before we close it out, man?
I mean, man, I didn't really know. This was a great joint. I appreciate her coming on. We had a lady on the show in so long, to be honest with y'all, that it was just great to have a lady in the space with us on the couch. You hear me?
Appreciate you.
You hear me? So I really just want to say thank you to the doctor, as a woman and a doctor, putting out this type of information that you're moving autonomously. And because you're going against what most people could easily do as a doctor and just fit in and do what makes, so that's autonomous. That's that ghost population.
I thought you was gonna keep on that ghost population, bro. He gonna go crazy with that ghost population.
I love it.
Bill, you heard me. Now, for real though, I had to turn up real quick. She got me hyped. You heard me? That's how I know the therapy works. That's why I say you a good doctor. See, it works.
The doctor. The good doctor.
I'm going to have you a drink, margarita and reefer after this. I promise you.
And these views are only our own, not Dr. Nicole. You know how we do with the autonomous party. Lisa Maroon, Wild Maroon. You hear me?
Don't get mad at me for saying these things. Maranatha. Appreciate you, doctor. I ain't got nothing else to say. We can land on that. Great show. I appreciate you showing up. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for having me so much. It's been fun. I love it.
Yeah, no problem, man. We definitely look to have you again. So to all y'all in the audience, please go support Dr. Nicole. Check her out on the TikTok, YouTube, Amazon, and look out for the book. When you follow her on TikTok, I'm sure she's going to be talking about it. So stay tuned, and y'all tell her to come back to visit the autonomous party again. So we try to offer a great hospitality. You know what I'm saying? That Southern hospitality.
Go.
I love it. Very different than our West Coast hospitality.
Oh yeah, it's way different. Whole nother world. Hey, so with that being said, we appreciate y'all tuning in with us tonight. We'll see y'all next time. All right. Yeah. And with that being said, peace to the party, man. Y'all hold it down. Peace.
Yeah. Harsh reality is live by for talents, and you heard me. Peace.
They said my story's in a file, a barcode born to reconcile. But when I breathe, I feel the flame of every soul that wore my name.
They test my blood but not my song. They name me right but spell me wrong. Every drop still testifies we survived what couldn't die.
We remember the hands that pray, yeah. We remember the price they paid. We remember the light, the climb, 'cause the blood remembers time. We remember who we are.
No code, no lab, no star.
Measure who we are. From the field to the skyline, from the roots to the divine. We remember our name, 'cause the blood remembers time.
Testifying our glory.
They say I'm part of this and that, but who recorded where I'm at? I'm every hymn my people sang before this nation knew our name.
We remember the songs they wrote. We remember the words they spoke.
We remember the old and young.
The fight still lives in every tongue.
They tried to write us out the page,
but we remember
our truth don't age with time or cage.
We remember
the blood still moves from line to line.
We remember
every prayer becomes a sign.
We remember
the bayou is
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that's tapped in with us. The Autonomous Party. Monte.
What's up, homeboy with the news, man?
Yes, right.
Peace to the party.
It's your boy Mac Gaither, as you know, founder, the Autonomous Party. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. That's why we want you to tap in with us. As we start this network vibe that we building out, you know what I'm saying? We want you to tap in, subscribe, check us out on obviously YouTube. Don't forget, we're on website, theautonomousparty.com, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Got to check out our website. Merch and stuff coming soon. We got some samples out there, but we're getting ready to go full launch with that too. The Patreon, when you go to Maroonville, if you don't know, it's like our virtual city type vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We try to do like the village, you hear me? So pull up to Maroonville and you'll see us do different things using that brand underneath the Autonomous Party, you heard me? So shout out to all them American Maroons out there, Esther Lusty, all my Gullah folk out there, all my indigenous people out there. You know what I mean? What they call black natives.
Oh, yeah.
Of America. You heard me? So
yeah.
Tap in with us.
That's what it is, man. Hey, make sure you always keep up to date with the news. We got a lot of new programming coming for y'all. Appreciate all the support, man. Peace to the party.
On the other side of this, too, is we've been trying to address certain things in our community. And this is why we have these different plugs in for conversations and dialogue so we can open it up for everybody to tap in. And you give us your feedback. So your feedback matters, you know what I'm saying, and what
Most
we
definitely.
do. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure we keep it genuine with y'all, that we want y'all feedback from all the different communities that's tapped in, that understand that they relate to the ideal of being So that's why the whole brand is really about being autonomous, no matter if you subscribe to different identities underneath being an American or labeled black in America. This is the maroon side of it. So we're giving it to you this way, raw, uncut.
And I would say, just to add, a lot of people think we're not trying to ruffle no feathers, bro. We're not trying to antagonize people when we make sure we come and share the version of history that we've researched and provide sources for. It's really to build. You know what I'm saying? So now we are, in the effort to do that, we are expanding our outreach. You know what I'm saying, Mac?
Definitely.
Like we want this to be for everybody to take on the message and challenge us if you feel like we've said something wrong, but come with your sources and we all come with respect and we can do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's really all I got on it, man.
Yeah, man. Just still, we always transparent. That's why we do these things like this. And when you get this clip, we hopefully, again, share it out to the community, tap in with us. We're on all social platforms. You can find us. Basically, you can see us everywhere.
We got YouTube.
YouTube.
Sure. Yeah. TikTok. Yeah. X.
Mm-hmm. News.
Right.
You heard me? That's our news, like all the clips and stuff, information. If you want to read and you like to read, we drop a lot of information on X that you could read from the source standpoint of our builds, actually. You know what I mean? And crazy enough, you'll see so much stuff on there. You'll be like, which video or what it come from?
Yeah.
There's a lot of content there. So we would like for you to go, if you like to read, there's clips there. And obviously the exclusive stuff is going to be on Patreon.
Right.
So our Patreon is set up.
Subscribe to Patreon to them.
Yeah, so Patreon is set up to where we're going to be doing our classes from there, programs from there, obviously the social things that we have going on exclusively for those who subscribe. They'll have access to being able to tap in with us that way. And then at the same time, we're looking to, expand that community. That's why we call it Maroonville. Even though it's our social club, it's called the Autonomous Party Social Club. The Maroonville is literally the vibe for the social standpoint of a village community type of vibe. So all the different things that happens in the community, we're doing it on our Patreon. You hear me? So definitely subscribe to that. I mean, you could, for free, subscribe to it. You can support. We got different tiers right now. We got a $5 tier. We got Sunday service tier, Maroonville, Sunday service. And for my, for the ministry side even, our social members on the ministry side, that's right, the Autonomous Party Ecclesia, the Assembly, you heard? We do have the ministry set up. You know what I mean? That's what we did this year. Take the time to set up that side of the party. And now that's why we're coming back to this media side to give you that vibe, content-wise, on a network level. You feel what I'm saying? So these different exclusive things you're going to see us doing, interviews, etc., and obviously different network of people that we're going to be tapping into that's going to be bringing content to our platform for y'all to take in and, again, be autonomous with it. Do what's the best for you and yours. You heard me? So Again, it's your boy Mac Aether. You heard me? The harsh reality is live life autonomously. That's the campaign, and the party is the autonomous party. You heard me? So tap in.
Pale races. My lineage free people of color with a left maker. Each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Esther Lusty. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces, the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy, I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.
Black leaves in the Mississippi River. Black leaves in the Mississippi fire. Black leaves in the Mississippi choir. Black leaves on the Mississippi land. And we've got God and cotton. We've got sons and daughters. We've got grit and glory. We've got mother stories. We've got strength like towers. We've got hope and power.
God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land. God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land.
Strength like towers, we got hope and power.
God made woman with an iron hand, raised her up on heaven's land.
Every day, and I know like you love me, baby, you did it.